Alright, Tony back for the 7th video. I think this will probably be the last one, fortunately. Almost there. Right, so let's do sprites. Right, we're on sprites after the game object. Yep, note implies the existence of image manager, which I've shown, but I'll take a quick look at it again. This includes at least the manager and yep, yep. Right. So image manager again exists. Congratulations on existing image manager. Of course, sprite font manager is a thing that is used, as you will see soon. I hope. Right. So we got our sprite here. So it can be it's initialized with the image key, which it can then uses to query the not the model manager, the image manager, of course, to get the image and the image rectangle, which it then uses to create the sprite. And of course, it also uses the baked-in like the shader for the sprites, and then the model manager. Actually, I don't know if I showed this, but I've got in the constructor. So basically, behind the scenes, it automatically has a sprite model and a sprite shader. So those just exist. Yeah, it sets all the things. Render, of course, it constructs the world matrix here every. Of course, this is every frame, but it also doesn't have to do it over potentially multiple sets. So, like if you're setting the scale, position, rotation every frame, I don't know why you do that, but if you were doing that, this accounts for that and whatnot by reconstructing the world matrix in standard TRS form with the scale, rotation, or just rotation, and then the transform, which is very large. Yeah, and then of course renders with the camera it's given, which should be 2D. If it's not 2D, someone did something wrong. Right? Or I guess orthographic would be the proper way to put that. And of course, we have our setters here. The scale pixel, of course, does a little bit of math to figure out the what the scale will be based on the width and height given versus the original height of the sprite, or what the current one is anyway. I'm not sure whether this means original or current one, because this one's definitely the current. So I guess it means origin. I don't know. Either way, this works. So it is what it is. Whatever Keenan wanted to put is what is there. Right. So let's close that out real quick. How are we doing for time? I'm spending a little too long. Let's take a look at sprite fonts next, I believe. Why multiple? Optionally also create sprite manager and use sprite instances. I don't have this sprite manager. I really only created a few of them, so there was no real need for a sprite manager. Although if I wanted to create a lot, and really it was mostly just handled by sprite string, so I used mostly sprite strings. So describe data structures. Not sure what data structures is talking about. Hopefully we'll go over those as we go on. Made methods, exist, constructor, accessor. Yeah, we went through those. Draw. Well, I believe that's render. or maybe I don't know. Internal access management. Oh, we gotta look at the camera manager. How could I forget about you, Mr. Camera Manager? I don't know. Anyway, we got our camera manager here, which is of course a got actually. Where is the camera attorney? Goofy camera attorney, where are you hiding? Actually, no, it doesn't need an attorney. I am sorry, that's not supposed to be there. Do. But I should be able to just comment that and it'll do everything fine. Just have to rebuild everything. It's like, oh, you changed a thing. It doesn't matter. Yeah, still does 2D things. Yeah, that was when I thought it needed an attorney for some reason. Because I was dumb. Shocker. Anyway, Big Four. It's got the different cams here. It's got the current cam, which could be, well, technically it really shouldn't be the cam 2D, but technically it could be the cam 2D if you so desire, because you can get it and then set the current cam to it if you really want to. Then default cam, which is what it usually defaults to, but my current scenario has it to like the original demo with the space frigate had the default cam, but my current one has a follow camera right here. So I've got this helper function here, which is called up in constructor right here. So basically, this just creates a perspective 3D camera, orients it with the given to make it behind the tank at the correct angle so you can see things rather than just looking at the tank. And of course, updates the position and yeah. Anyway, camera manager has the default cam setup and 2D camera down here. Deletes them because of course you gotta clean stuff up. And all the skitters and the setter, singular. Because you can't change the default or the 2D. You can only change the current. Yes. So that should be that. Destructor? Oh, might as well test the destructor over here. Do. Can't believe it passed over a destructor without testing. Yeah, so it gets called on the null scene, and of course it gets called on the actual scene. Actually, now that I think about it, I probably should just have some initialize function that doesn't force the null scene to go through the whole process. Oh well, I guess you can take points off for that. Then too late now. Man, I can't believe I thought of that just now. What am I doing? Sprite fonts. So let's take a look at sprite fonts real quick. How much time are we at? Right, sprite fonts, which go through the sprite font manager, or which is an asset manager. Of course, using the Rapid XML, which I at first was very angry about it not working properly, but then I realized that there was just the one thing you have to change in it with the static variable. I was like, oh, okay. Yes. Anyway, we have a destructor to test in a second. The glyph, of course, is just a sprite. It's just renaming sprite because reasons. I follow the I follow the diagram. Oh. Anyway, we've got our this bit here will create the font texture, which is kept by the sprite font itself because I decided the texture manager didn't need to be bothered with this because you're not going to be passing it around at all. So you might as well keep it on because the sprite font is already an internal class anyway. So I think this this internalizes it a lot better, in my opinion, instead of, and it's just like one line difference. Plus, then I can delete it right here. It's just so much cleaner, so much cleaner. Anyway, XML collection then happens by calling the file, which basically you get the file name, which would be like, for example, right now it's test3, I believe, is what it's going to call with. Right. So we've got our test3, which is in both sides here. Just going to create it's going to go through the sprite font manager to create this sprite font. And of course it goes to yes. Take a quick look at the assets, fonts. Right, so I just named them tests because I spent many hours trying to get them to work. I forgot to change them to the actual fonts. The test 3 is the one that I'm currently using. It's just Courier New, which looks like like this. It's upside down and flipped all around. Well, actually, that's not technically what it looks like. The TGA had to be changed. Different. Yay. Then we got our metric files, or the XML files, depending on what you want to call them. Right, yeah. So you just would I just put in here test3. It'll then put together the file path for the TGA to create the texture file. Then it'll put together a file path with the same string to make the XML file path. Yeah, anyway, let's test the destructor. Bloop. There we go. And it's destructing as you would expect. Right. So we got ourselves get glyph, create glyph. So yeah, this part here is a helper function for the XML collection function, which basically parses the XML. I mostly got this from your slides and lecture, whatnot, so it shouldn't be anything too new. Yeah. So that's sprite fonts. Let's pull out sprite strings. Those are pretty important. Right, so got the header file here. Of course, we got big 4. Well, in this case, big 5, because there's two constructors. Ooh, fancy. Got our collection of glyphs, which is really just the sprites for to represent the string. And I've got a spacing constant here for aesthetic purposes. And then we've got this is the constructor with the arguments versus not the arguments. Yeah. So it basically goes through and for the length of the string and shoves the glyphs in there. Beforehand, it clears out any potentially other. Actually, this probably doesn't need to go up here because this is the constructor. Probably just copied it from the down here, the setter. Yeah, so that's really for the setter down here. So, set the a new string potentially, or actually technically you can set a new font, string, and position. So you can change up your sprite string basically as much as you want during your game. So you don't have to like make a new one every time. Render. So yeah, we render each glyph one at a time, spacing it out properly and whatnot. Let's take a look at the assumes functions. Yep, we got sprites that function. Congratulations. Describe data structures by multiple. Again, I'm not sure exactly what this means, but I'm gonna assume it has to do with the holding the glyphs. But and you don't really need multiple data structures for that. Well, I guess I'm missing something potentially. I don't know. Let's look at the Stitch class, which I created to literally just show off sprites, which is in the number 9, sprint 9. Yeah, that's the class I use. Haven't changed it at all since then. I just threw it in the original demo content. Yeah, so we've got our 2 sprite texts here, and setting them to their trying out the setters as they would, of course. Got scenery and stuff there, and then you draw 2D there, and of course you can make Stitch spin. I suppose I could stick him into the. Well, actually, no. I won't waste your time with that because you've already seen that in Sprint 9. Plus, you've seen the sprite font or sprite string, which is basically just an upgraded version of the sprites, or a collection of sprites, I guess would be more accurate. And I am running up against the time here. I really need to not make this too long. To do sprite string, cycling the necessary. Right. So this shouldn't be necessary. I mean, because we have the setter that cross alignment. Yeah. Yep. Oops. Did I just move that around? I did. Yeah. So for the recycling, I think I'm already doing this because all the glyphs are just pointers to the sprite font, which has all the actual glyphs or sprites. They really are. So recycling, more in a sense, recycling. I already showed the visualizer in the collision part, which I believe is part 5, part 5 or 6. This is yeah, no, I think it was part 5. Anyway, I'll just flash it by in case you wish to look at it again. You got all the things. Singleton, congratulations on being a singleton. Uh, it sets the unit sphere once, the model for it, and the shader, and then uses the same pointer every time, instead of loading it again and again and again. This is the bit here where I try to be clever. I never removed that, but you know, visualize all the commands or command. Yeah, attorney visualizes, of course, interfaces with the main game class Atom, and allows rendering of the B sphere for the visualizer. Yeah, that should all be in order, more or less. Math tool. Yeah, it's a static function in a file, basically. Here we are. We've got our class. Math tools. Probably shouldn't have called it PW math tools, but that was awkward. Oh well. It's uh, I can't remember if I ever showed this in the last sprint, but I did condense it down and got rid of the temporaries you wanted me to get rid of. So yeah, got our one intersect function because we're not using any others since we don't have anything else. Yeah. That's a math function. Also, they're static. It's a static function in a regular class, not a singleton. Function is just static. The intersection function. And then one method, two bounding spheres. Again, a little light on the document. Well, pretty light on the documentation. I'm not gonna lie. Colors. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. I've got a little ease of life tab here. Might as well show all these off. Right, so we got colors here. All the colors you could ever want. All of them. All of the colors. I totally didn't get these off a website. No, never. No. But if you ever wanted to know about colors, all the colors ever. I considered deleting some of them, but it was very hard to decide what to delete, so I just decided, why not? Just throw them all in. Right, so we got Sprite Core. So this is the include file that you include if you want to use sprites or 2D objects. I really just made these for ease of life, as it says. We got Atom Core, which has all things pretty much all the things with user functions that you need. So you don't have to like do that annoying thing where you like backslash at or engine folder all that. Yeah. What are we doing? We just hit 20 minutes again. Whoop-de-doo. Right. So let's wrap this up, shall we? Documentation clear. Right. So can't state this enough. I haven't done the best of job with documentating, but let's run through what I do have documentation front real quickly again. You've already seen all this stuff. So we got asset management in detail, the details, game objects, how to sign up for things and do them. The update and draw are here. I didn't think they needed their own thing because they have their own documentation in here and they're pretty self-explanatory. They don't really require anything special. You just call the registration to register for them the one time in the constructor or potentially the entry function, scene entry function. For example, yeah, we got drawable stuff here. Now, I honestly can't remember where all the documentation is, and this list is very long. So I probably won't go through it. I unfortunately don't have that much documentation on stuff. So not much point anyway. What else we got for tutorials? This is where the scene stuff will go. Anyway, yeah, that's the disappointing end to this video, but hopefully you didn't find my work too dissatisfactory regardless. Overall, yeah, thanks for the quarter and all. Yeah, well, hopefully see you next quarter.